You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158. Welcome back to another episode of 8158 Podcast Stories of Sacrifice. We have two wonderful guests today, Derek and Amanda, and they are both first responders, and they are a couple. Isn't that amazing?
Right.
How's it going?
So it's going great over here.
Yeah.
I'm actually still on shift. I got about an hour of shift left. So.
Okay. And what exactly do you do as a first responder?
So I am a police officer. I've served for roughly about 6 years. I was also a 911 dispatcher for about 3.5 years.
Awesome. And how about you, Amanda?
I am currently a field supervisor. I'm a night shift supervisor for a private ambulance company out here in Northern California. So,
oh my God.
And I've been in EMS for a little over 4 years, maybe 5 years now.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And how did you two meet? that's a far distance there.
It is. It's kind of a funny story. When people ask us, I always say the short version is we met on TikTok.
Okay.
But the longer version is just doing what we do now. We kind of connected that way, became really good friends at first, and kind of worked together to support other first responders. And then it just went from there. So had a lot in common.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
So I think our first
Derek, how long have you been in law enforcement? Okay.
So I've been I'll say it's kind of funny. Our first conversation had to do with tattoos and music. So
hey, that's a good conversation.
Yeah, right. That's right. It did.
But to answer your question, I've been in since I went into the academy in 2019 and I graduated in 2020. So it kind of depends on if you want to take academy time versus actually being certified. So it's certified. It's almost about 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I say I've got about 3.5 years doing 911 dispatch.
Great. That's a tough job in itself.
It is. So, but
I wouldn't wish that one on anybody.
So
yeah, it's not for just anybody. That's for sure. I joke around. You interviewed my daughter recently, Frankie, and I always joke around with her because that's my daughter. So
okay,
yeah. So I always, whenever I go see her in dispatch, well, when we were on the same shift, because she works day shift and I work nights, but when we were kind of on the same schedule, I would joke around, that I refuse to go see her in her environment just because it's too chaotic. There was a couple of times where I'd walk into the dispatch center and I'd look around, and it would be during peak hours, right, in the afternoon. And I would literally look around, turn around, and walk back out. And then I'd text her, I'll be back later when it quiets down.
When everything quiets down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to say, have a quiet shift because it's never quiet when you have a quiet shift.
Those are my favorite words.
That word.
That's a running joke with some of my buddies. They do that on purpose to get people riled up on their shifts.
Derek does that quite often, actually. He does that to me quite often.
No comment.
Guilty as charged, he is.
I believe innocent until proven guilty.
That's pretty awesome. So you, Amanda, are living in Northern California, and you are in Northern Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Derek? Okay. That is amazing. So you guys met on TikTok.
Yep.
And how did that happen?
just through a group of first responders that we knew mutually. And yeah, it just kind of took off from there. It was on one of Sarah's lives, actually, was the first time that he and I came across each other. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
I don't think at the time either one of us were looking for a relationship. Like, we were both dead set against the whole relationship thing. So we were just, we're like, oh, cool, really good friends. Yeah, no, that didn't last long.
Next thing you know, we're on the phone for 8 hours at a time. Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that.
And I think and he and I have talked about it a lot. And, we've gone back and we've talked about it a lot, where we were then versus, where we are now. And a lot of it just boiled down to we could relate. And that was one of the big things. That still is one of the big things with both of our jobs. Like, we can relate. Like, I get it. And a lot of what non-first responder spouses or significant others sometimes don't understand is when they shut down after that long shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
We both can relate to a lot of that, and we can understand. It's a little bit of a different world being law enforcement, EMS, but we can understand where the other one's coming from, and that was one of our foundations, as well as the passion that we both have for helping other first responders. For helping other first responders.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing.
100%.
That's amazing.
Through our conversations, we ended up discovering that we both had some trauma in a sort of way. So we kind of bonded a little bit in regards to that. And, I had a previous relationship that she had no idea about first responders and that. And so it's just kind of benefiting, I would say, to have someone who understands the first responder aspect.
Absolutely. We find that a lot, that, it is hard for spouses who are married to somebody who's in the first responder world. They generally don't understand or grasp the concept of what you guys actually go through. So they don't understand, where you're coming from, or why you act the way you do, or you don't speak, or you don't talk about things that happen at work and that sort of thing. I see that a lot. And it's totally understandable, because you don't want to deliver that trauma. If you've seen something very horrific, you're not going to want to take that home to your family. You're going to keep that in. You're going to journalize it. And that's just kind of builds up inside of you. It's kind of like putting it in a backpack, and it just kind of gets heavier and heavier type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I always compare it to putting it in a pressure cooker, right? Because you just load so much, and then at one point it's just all going to come out at once.
Right. It just kind of explodes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that had a lot to do with our, the way we bonded and the way we connected. And like I said, as well as wanting to help other first responders.
That's pretty awesome. Now, Derek, what kind of situations have you been in that you've seen, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, you're good.
Any type of traumas that you've dealt with that you've kind of put away that were hard for you to deal with?
Oh, yeah. It first started as a 911 dispatcher. I've got multiple calls, but some of them that come back to light would be I dispatched an officer-involved shooting. Let's say roughly about 6 minutes after I started my shift, which we worked 12-hour shifts at that time. I got the call. Long story short, I got the family. It was a mother, a husband, and also 2 kids out of the house while my officers surrounded it, made contact. Unfortunately, the subject decided he was going to brandish a firearm at my officers, not once, but twice. The second time, my officer decided that he was going to, there's no way, he had to put the person down. That whole surrounding ended up being to where I not only took the call, but I had to relive it twice to 3 times more because my supervisor came in. She had to make the tapes for the district attorney's office, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, also the sheriff's office. So instead of going to her office, she had the speakers there, so she was making the tapes. So I'm sitting there listening to the call, all the radio traffic, everything. Unfortunately, dispatch is very not thought of with all the trauma that they ended up experiencing. So no one checked on us. No one decided that we were okay or anything like that. It was just like, hey, you're just going to deal with this, and I'm making this and that kind of thing. I don't think it was ill-willed, but it just wasn't very thought of. We didn't know the status of the officer. All we knew that shots were fired. We found out that 2 hours later, the officer was okay. He was taken in critical condition because he was having a panic attack to a hospital. And amongst all that, I had the news media calling me and asking for, hey, we want, what's going on and stuff like that. And our general response was, we have nothing to report at this time. Well, I had a news source say, hey, you have 30 minutes before I just print off everything that happened on the radio. Of course, we don't want that. So I was kind of thrust into that whole thing. About 11 hours went by. My partner, who wasn't there at the time in dispatch, because we had alternating 12-hour shifts, she had a mental breakdown. So I had to help her with her mental breakdown after the whole shift. And it just kind of spiraled from there. Plus all the calls where I had to talk someone through CPR over the phone. I had a 10-month-old that was unresponsive. I hadn't been certified in EMD yet. And so just trying to get that whole aspect, just very traumatic on that whole aspect. So I just to build up the traumas. I had a guy who wanted me to shoot him, and I had 4 justifiable chances. But, just for some reason, I was like, something's not right. Didn't pull the trigger. Turns out he was just intoxicated and just wanted to end it. He charged myself. He ended up trying to take a swing at one of my partners, and I had a hard time with that. I'm like, do I need to get out of this field? Am I too scared to pull that trigger to defend my partner? So I had to come to battle with that. About a month later, I had a guy who I was in the verge of trying to talk down. He was former law enforcement. He was former military. And as we were getting everything set up, because it was right next to a highway, I looked back as we were trying to talk to him, and he pulled the trigger and ended up ending himself. So just a buildup of all that kind of traumas, and I could go on and on about everything that I've seen, but I mean, just all that just kind of, was traumatic.
Support for this episode comes from HeroLink, connecting heroes with the trusted resources and organizations that make a difference. Learn more through our Support the Mission page.
It's unfortunate. Now, how about you, Amanda? What kind of things have you gone through that have caused any kind of traumas, or that you've seen personally doing this job?
My most recent one, it was a couple months ago, one of my crews. Like I said, I'm a field supervisor. So at night, I have approximately, I joke around and I say I'm the only adult in charge at night, because as far as like leadership management, I'm the only one on shift. And so with that being said, I have about anywhere from 18 to 21, 22 BLS crews under me, about 4 or 5 ALS crews, and then I have 3 CCT crews and 3 NICU crews. So I work for an IFT company we're primarily IFT out of Northern California. Some areas we get brought into the 911 system, but we do run specialties. We specialize in NICU, PICU, CCT. So with that being said, I'm the only adult in charge at night, and we have 2 regions of California that we work out of. So in my region is where I have, the approximately 20 BLS, about 4 or 5 ALS, 3 CCT, NICU, PICU, just in my region, right? In the other region, we also have crews running, and we have supervisor on duty. Most of the time, we have a supervisor on duty over there. My most recent incident it was actually one of my crews. At one of the other region's crews, they were transporting a patient a psych patient. Here in California, we call them, 5150. I think they're different all
Crazy.
over. Yeah. In California, they're known as 5150 patients, where they've been brought into the ER and now they're going to a psych facility to receive further care. And one of the crews, baby crews, both these kids were young. They're young. It's their first EMS job. One's only been in EMS for maybe 2 or 3 months, and the other one was less than 6 months. So not only were they young, but they were baby EMTs, right?
Right.
And this patient brutally attacked them. Got off of the gurney. They were kind of stranded on a 2-lane highway it was around 1:00 in the morning when the incident started. And it was a fight. The way everything happened, I was in the dispatch center when dispatch got word of it. And one of the things that I was not prepared for becoming a supervisor was that the trauma, not only would it not end, like you would still have a possibility of it, right? Because you're still in the field, but it's a different kind of trauma because I see my crews as my kids. And even though I didn't know these two, it was a rough incident. It kind of shook us in the company. It had an effect on them for sure. They're both okay, but the way the whole incident happened, they were alone with this patient in the middle of a 2-lane freeway at 1:00 in the morning in between, just like a strand of highway where there's not many cars at all. And they had to defend themselves until an innocent bystander pulled over and helped them. And then on top of it, they were pretty much abandoned by local law enforcement as well as fire, because when they were finally able to call for help, local fire department as well as a local sheriff's department responded. However, they didn't do anything about it. They just put the patient back on her gurney, strapped him down, and told my crew, okay, continue transport. My crew's like, wait, we are now patients. Like one of my crew, one of the EMTs was punched in the head over 12 times by this patient. And fire and the sheriff showed up and they left, and so we had this crew shaken up, beaten up, just got done defending themselves, fighting for their life pretty much. And then they had to continue to take care of this patient. And an extra probably 30 minutes of a drive to where they can get anywhere, the local, the closest hospital. So that was my most recent one, and it was rough. I struggled with that one for a few days. I didn't want to admit that as first responders, a lot of the times we don't want to admit when things are eating at us. We don't want to, it's part of the stigma, right? We don't really want to admit when things get to us and things get heavy and we struggle with dealing with what we go through. So yeah, that one did get me for a few days. I didn't realize it at first, but looking back, it took a toll on me. Thankfully, I was able to, if I finally told myself, and of course with Derek's support, a couple of days, he was like, you need to talk to somebody. Like, you just went through a traumatic event, and I did the typical, it didn't happen to me. It wasn't me. I was fine. It was my crew. And then I finally said, "Ooh, Nala, no, sorry." I finally said, you know what? If I'm going to sit here and I'm going to preach to my fellow first responders, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help. And I'm constantly telling them, like, we can't take care of other people if we don't take care of ourselves. Then I've got to freaking, stand up and do the same thing. I've got to put my big girl panties on and do the same thing. And I finally did. And I reached out to Dennis Carradine, who he's pretty awesome. We've been able to team up with him a couple of times, and I reached out to him, and I was like, okay, I need you for me this time. And he was pretty awesome, and he helped me through it. Derek and Frankie. Frankie was a big support system, and Derek was a huge support system during that incident. And I felt like I should have got to them faster. I should have been able to prevent it. I should have, all the things, right? There was nothing I could have done differently.
No. I know as a supervisor, you want to blame yourself, but obviously there wasn't anything you could do. I mean, it would have been smart for LEO and fire or somebody to, one, treat the ambulance crew, and two, at least give them provide escort in case something else happened.
Right.
I mean, that would have been the smart thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's just my logical thinking. But fortunately, nothing did happen after that, correct?
No, they were off for a couple of days. When I finally did get eyes on him, I met him at the hospital that I diverted him to, and I was able to sit with them while they got, evaluated. They handed over care of their patient, and I sat with them until they were cleared. Their station manager drove all the way out. It's because their home base is 2 hours away. And so their station manager drove out and met us at the hospital. So I stayed with them until they got discharged. And then I was able to check on them afterwards. And I think that's when I really started to, I'm not even going to say get over it, because you don't. I still get stressed a little bit more than usual when I have a crew who's getting ready to transport a 5150. It kind of, that little red flag goes up. So I'm not even going to say get over it, but I think I really started to process it and move past it once the second one came back to work, because he was off work for a while. And once he finally came back to work and I was able to call him and listen to him and talk to him and see how he was doing and that he was processing it in a healthy way, that's when I really started to move past it. But I'm not going to use the words get over it or like let it go.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that anybody can really get over or let go. I mean, it's always going to be there. The only way you can do is just, change the process of how you deal with it.
Yeah,
Seeking
that's
help.
for sure.
And how about you, Derek? How did you seek out help for the situations that you've been through?
So I'll admit one of the things that I'm faulty for is being very stubborn. I noticed a change last year because I have a 5-year-old son, when he would always come up and, Daddy, are you okay? And that kind of question. I'm like, if he's 5 years old, he's picking on something that's not right. And so we have a foundation out here in Oklahoma called Warriors Rest. It's made up of first responders, and I think there's some military people as well. But it started out with Oklahoma Highway Patrol, where they realized, hey, something's not right around the Oklahoma City bombings. And so they ended up bringing together, starting the foundation. And so I checked myself into a PCIS, a post-critical incident seminar. It's 3.5 days where they work on you, get your head mentally straight, offer advice on how to get better, offer peer support in order to get better in regards to that. I checked myself into one of those, started getting better. Actually met Amanda. We ended up started talking, gotten close in that. And then a TikToker named Sad Team Chris came into one of the lives that we were in and was talking about an SGB injection. Don't give me a start on how to say it, because I'm a cop. I don't know those medical terms, but Amanda can definitely tell you exactly what the SGB stands for. But it was one of those things where I was talking to her, and just what he told me in regards to it, I was like, there's no way that this would work, But, I've got a stubborn girlfriend down there, and she said, hey, look into it. What's the worst that could happen? she can tell you exactly how I was before the entire situation. I was on edge, hypervigilant. I have what I call a work wife. He's a friend that I'm pretty close with, if people don't know that whole terminology. But I would just cook him some meals, stuff like that, bring him up to the office because I live close by. He would eat it, and I got my Tupperware back. Well, Amanda first came and saw me when what we call snowmageddon in Oklahoma, where it was just snowing everywhere. Things were getting canceled left and right. That's when we kind of had our first date and going to the PBR. I went to go introduce her to him, and I didn't think anything of it. And I put the Tupperware up the dash with the heat going on. And because I've been shot at before and it hit the vehicle, I wasn't thinking anything of it. We were going to go ghost hunting, and all of a sudden that pop from the expanding of the Tupperware, it sent me to where I don't know how I stayed on the road technically for 4 miles, but I wasn't there. I was reliving, all those kind of things. And then she finally spoke, and it snapped me right back out. I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? From the point that it happened to the point that, I've snapped back, I don't remember that 4 mile stretch. Seeing that and having Amanda's support regards to it, because I'd had to fly all the way to Baltimore for it. Never flown before. And I was like, there's no way. Heck, this, big Okie been on the airplane willingly. It's going to be great. But, just with her guidance, I was able to help get that injection to help calm me down. It resets the fight or flight reflex. So the best way I can describe it from before to after, for those who've been in dispatch, they know that when they're in there, you've got the fire radio, you got the EMS radio going on, you've got the law enforcement radio going on, you've got the administrative line going on, plus the 911. You've got the dispatchers talking to each other. You got the TV that no one hears because it's just on there for visual inspection. All that's going on in a dispatch center. Well, after I received my first injection, it's like I walk back into dispatch, but it's closed. There's no phones ringing, nothing. I'm the only one there. So just that.
That's the best way he described it. Yeah, that's the best way he described it afterwards. It's like the comm center is shut down.
Mm-hmm. And so just that aspect has helped me get better at my mental health. I'm seeking therapy now just to kind of keep on tabs of it, because if I don't, I'm possibly going to go back to where I was before.
Right.
So
it was a good combination of the seminar that he went to in like September, between the seminar that he went to and getting the injection, as well as keeping up on therapy. He's come a long way since I first met him, for sure, with a lot of his trauma, his triggers, the panic attacks. Yeah, I think the combination of all of it is what's made a significant difference for him.
Right. Well, I can tell you, I'm no stranger to panic attacks.
Right.
They're not fun.
No, they're not fun.
They're not fun at all.
Yeah. I take medications on the regular every day to keep my head level.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I had originally started on medication. I was originally started on medication when I was a dispatcher, and they had me at such a high dose because, I'm not afraid to admit it. I did try to take my own life at one point, but they had me at such a high dose because they're like, hey, we want to, make sure you're going to be okay. I'm like, okay, but it's making me feel like a robot. I'm like, I can't enjoy my kids because I can't even feel happiness. And so it's just like, I don't want the medication. I need to do something else.
Right. Yeah, that was the thing with me too, as far as the panic attacks and stuff, is that I didn't want to take medications. I struggled through it for years, and I didn't want to take any medications because I didn't want to feel like that. I didn't want to feel like a zombie or just kind of like, I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted to be myself again.
Right.
And they put me on, I think it's cycloprin and clonazepam with a little bit of propranolol, and I take the clonazepam and the cycloprin every day, and then propranolol whenever I need it, whenever I feel an increase in heart rate.
because that's usually what triggers my panic attacks. But I don't feel any different. I just don't have the panic attacks anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Amanda can tell you how I was before, because she ended up being able to spend, was it like 5 days with me before we went to Baltimore?
Yeah. It was in a time span of 5 days. He was, even though we were able to have a good time, he was still on edge, right? He was still in that fight or flight. He was ready, even out in public, especially out in public, just always on guard. A few panic attacks, nightmares. His nightmares were really bad. And this was after the seminar. So we went to the seminar in September, and then I came out like January, February, right? So there was some panic attacks, some triggers, some nightmares. And then we flew to Maryland after talking with Chris and Justin Miller, talking to them extensively about the SGB. We flew out to Maryland to Dr. Lynch in the beginning of March 9th and March 10th are the days that he got his injections. And it was literally night and day, absolute night and day. From the moment that he got the injection, it was, he would only be like on guard when we were out in public, but he was not as much actually getting sleep. I noticed that he was getting more restful sleep. The nightmares stopped. I think from the time he had his injection in March to now, actually, June, when he was out here for my birthday week, was the first time he had a nightmare. And that was only close because it was close to one of his incident anniversaries, a really bad one. But that was the first nightmare since March. So he went from having nightmares multiple nights a week and, being triggered multiple times a week to almost nil. So,
right.
Yeah.
So would you frame that? I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to call PTSD a disorder, because I don't believe it's a disorder. I think it's an injury.
It's an injury, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's something that happened to you. It's not something that you were born with or some kind of disease. It's something that has happened that's damaged you in a way that can be treated. So is that how you frame that, PTSD or PTSI?
So I haven't really thought about it.
Absolutely.
But I've always been told, oh, it's PTSD. I have this PTSD. I'm like, I don't have a label for it. I just know it's not fun.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the problem where the stigma comes from, is because we've had a lot of officers and firefighters and EMS refuse to talk about things with their superiors because they don't want to be labeled, 5150, right? They don't want to be labeled as crazy. They don't want to be untrustworthy. They don't want to live with that stigma or have their peers looking at them in a way that they're like, well, we can't trust you because you're this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some have.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Some have worried about losing their jobs over it, which we have talked to other guests who have lost their jobs because they came forward and they talked about their experiences and they have lost their jobs over it. Not here on the show, obviously, but this was beforehand going through their process. Right. And it's sad to see that it's, there's a lot of help available. It's just that people are just so scared because this is their life. This is their livelihood.
Right.
Yeah.
And the stigma is real. I know the stigma is real.
Right.
It's horrible. And I can't, it's one of the things that really drives me to speak up for first responders is, we normalize running into burning building, right? We normalize running towards the bullets to save complete strangers. We normalize showing up on somebody's worst days and taking on that trauma to be that difference. We normalize all of that, taking care of strangers, being there for others, putting our lives on the line, and we still cannot normalize taking care of ourselves. We bring on all that secondary trauma. and yet we still can't normalize speaking up to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. It's just so taboo, right?
Right.
The typical, you know what you signed up for. You should have thought of that before you signed up for it. It was a risk you were willing to take when you signed up for it. Derek didn't sign up to be shot at. I didn't sign up to be attacked, right? You know, people that we've lost in the line of duty did not sign up for that. But yeah, here it is. It happened. So I think that's one of like my driving forces is we're just expected to because we signed up for it, but we cannot normalize taking care of ourselves.
It's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about it, like the average person experiences possibly 5 to 7 critical incidents in their entire lifespan. And that's on the high end. The average first responder is exposed to 600 to 700 critical incidences in their career alone.
Right.
And we're just
expected just to handle it.
Just to handle it and move on, get over it and move on.
That's not possible.
No.
Right.
There is no one person that's Superman that can deal with all that trauma. 600 to 700 traumatic incidences building up inside of you. There is no possible way any sane person would just be okay with that.
Right.
And that's if they make it through their whole career, because what are the chances, you know, that's if they make it their entirety of their career without unaliving themselves, without becoming addicted to something and having the addiction affect their job, or, you know, without it just beating them up so much that they become a shell. You know, that's if they make it through their entire career, 600 to 700 critical incidents in their entire career that they're exposed to. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what added fuel to what Derek and I are doing now and what we have started kind of as a result of the first responders not having a voice. There's a lot of first responders, they either don't know how to come forward, they don't feel safe coming forward in their, you know, their area, their employment, or they don't know who to turn to. There's a lot of people, like you said, they've been fired, right? So of course they're not going to go to their work and say, I'm struggling. Where else are they going to go? And so one of the main missions that Derek and I decided to start together was CISM and becoming critical incident stress management trained. And we're super excited about it because he and I just last month, we went through the training and the certification, and he and I are now both internationally critical incident stress management trained. So, yeah.
And now, do you provide that service for any first responder around the state, in the entire country, or is it just locally?
It's open to anybody. It's brand new. We're still at the beginning stages. We kind of started it. We're calling it. We started our own, like I said, our own mission, and we're calling it "Break the Stigma, Hold the Line." And so he and I are working. We've talked to a couple other people who are either already certified or getting in the process of getting certified, and they're wanting to join us too, because we're opening that up to any first responder. Wherever you are, we're literally just a phone call away. If we have the means, you know, we can, you know, get to you or make a phone call and get somebody to you. We have connections throughout. We're building connections. We have those resources. So for those who, like for me, my company, we don't have a CISM team. We don't have peer support at my company. I'm actually getting ready to start it. That was another thing I've got my hands in as well. When my company after everything I went through with this crew, my company owner found out what I did outside of work with peer support and everything, and what I was getting ready to do and get trained. And she asked me if I could help her start the peer support, the CISM program within my company. So not only am I doing it outside of work, but I'm starting it at my company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Is this an organization or is it like a nonprofit type of deal to where you're going to accept donations or anything that helps you guys kind of advance?
Yeah. We haven't even got that far yet.
Right.
We're literally in the baby steps. We are so excited and so blessed. Right now we are sponsored by Tommy and Caleb and Caden over at Misfit Mafia.
Okay.
They're a national group for training for, it's started by 3 firemen kind of on the same mission with education. And Maisie, I think did you interview Maisie? I'm not sure if you've talked to Maisie yet. I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
Maisie. Yeah, Maisie and Katie. Yeah,
Yep.
so Maisie,
Crazy
Caden.
girl.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love Maisie. But Maisie is part of Misfit Mafia. Caden, Caleb, Tom, and Maisie all run Misfit Mafia, and she handles the EMS portion of it. But Derek and I were super lucky. We've been sponsored by Misfit Mafia right now, and we're at the baby stages. Would I love for it to one of these days grow bigger and possibly, a foundation or nonprofit? Yeah. But right now we're just kind of getting our bearings straight and like getting our feet off of the ground. And I haven't even thought that far just because I'm like, I just want to be there to help people in one capacity or another. You know what I mean? If it grows, yes. Obviously, right? If it grows, yes. But I'm just super excited to kind of get it off of the ground, get our name out there. And, because we both have had it, like people have reached out to us. I've gotten messages like, hey, do you have a few minutes? I had a really tough shift last night. And I'm like, yep, I'm here, and whether they want a message or they want to call me. Same thing with Derek. Derek has gotten some messages. And so that's just, kind of how it all started, where it kind of all sparked it. Because it's like, wow, there's a lot of people out there that don't know where to go or don't have anybody to go to, or they're afraid to come forward.
Right. So do you guys, since you're in Oklahoma and you are in California, that would be 2 different chapters that you could start.
Well, yes, for the time being.
Areas, for the time being, until you guys kind of
right.
together.
Right.
Until we share the same zip code at some point. Yeah.
At least the same state, for crying out loud. That's great.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So, but what you said before is we've got a lot of resources. We can call Warriors Rest. They've got people throughout the nation that can help out with something. I could call right now and be like, hey, I've got a guy up in Maine, whatever, that's having a problem. Do you have anybody? And if they don't, they'll use their resources to find some resources. So eventually we'll at least get somebody there to actually talk to them.
Right. Right.
But in the meantime, they have access to, Derek or myself or, Ricky, who we're going to be bringing onto our team as well. So we'll be there with them until we can get somebody to them in person. And then one of the things that we worked out with them, with Misfit Mafia sponsoring us is when they travel and do training, if there's an agency or a department that, reaches out to them and they want to do training and get some certifications for their department, if they're interested in having somebody come out and do, peer support or, any type of education, that's part of our plan with Misfit Mafia is we're available to do that for them if they hear of anybody that they need.
Okay.
We will return after this quick ad break.
The William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation is on a mission to honor first responders and support those who serve. We provide scholarships for families who have lost a hero in the line of duty, offer second chances to juvenile offenders who are working to rebuild their future, and help new recruits pursuing careers as first responders. Through generous donations and the sale of merchandise, we're building a community that uplifts, empowers, and creates lasting impact. You can be a part of this mission as well. Visit 8158podcast.com to donate or shop today. Together, we can support those who serve, honor those we've lost, and give hope to those who need it most. Behind every badge is a story, and behind every story is a sacrifice. This is the 8158 podcast, where we honor the lives and legacies of first responders and their families. If our mission speaks to your heart, if these stories move you like they move us, join us on Patreon. For just $5 a month, you'll get ad-free listening, exclusive merchandise, behind-the-scenes content, and video episodes only available to our patrons. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, and you can be a part of it. Support us at patreon.com/8158podcast. Let's continue to share the stories that deserve to be heard.
There's just something about that first cup of coffee. For a lot of us, it's not just a routine, it's a reset. Before the shift, after the call, or in those quiet moments when everything finally slows down. That's why we're proud to partner with Fully Involved Coffee, a brand built around something bigger than just caffeine. This is coffee for a cause. Fully Involved Coffee supports first responders, veterans, and the communities that stand behind them. Every bag, every cup is part of a mission to give back to those who serve. And the coffee itself is fire. Small batch roasted, high quality beans, bold enough to get you through long shifts, early mornings, and late nights. From strong, no-nonsense roasts to smooth blends and even flavored options, plus tea if that's more your speed, they've got something for everyone. This isn't just good coffee, it's coffee with purpose. Head on over to 911gogojuice.com, use the promo code 8158 at checkout to support the mission and save on your order. And when you sign up for their monthly subscription, you'll get 10% off. So whether you're on duty, off duty, or just taking a moment to breathe, Fully Involved Coffee, brewed for those who serve and those who stand beside them.
So since you're just starting out this organization, Break the Stigma, Hold the Line,
Mhm.
do you guys have a support hotline for anybody to call or anything like that? Is it because I myself have a number? It's a hotline, and it's directed directly to my cell phone. It's not my personal number, but it goes to my cell phone. If anybody has to talk, like any first responder wants to talk, they could just call me, and I'll just be there to talk.
Not
And
yet. And I'm glad you brought that up because I know you have that set up. And
Yeah.
I was going to pick your brain about that because I know you have that set up. And so I was like, I was kind of curious on how to go about doing that because that's definitely one thing that Derek and I have talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. I think my wife set it up off of what was it? I don't have my phone on here, but yeah, it's just like a voice thing. A voice.
Mhm.
It's not through the regular cell phone number. It's like through a different number. It's actually a California number.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I have a Montana number, so it just directly reroutes the phone line to me.
And it goes straight
And
to your phone. Does it pop up on your phone? Does it let you know it's from the app? Like it differentiates the phone call?
So basically, my number, the last four digits of my number are the podcast number. It's 8158.
Okay.
So when anybody calls, the last four digits of that number show up.
Okay.
So you know
Okay.
it's somebody calling your hotline. So it's not like, it's a random. We've had spam calls, and I told them this was a hotline for first responders and police, and they would hang up really fast.
Yeah.
Because they say they're from Amazon. They're like, nah, this is a hotline for police department. And they're like, oh, hang up. But it does, if they do call you and they hang up, it leaves their phone number in your call log. So you can call them back.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I did want to talk to you about that because I knew you had that too, and I'm thinking there's gotta be a way.
Oh yeah,
to set that up. Yeah, like we have the TikTok page up, and then Misfit Mafia is also putting us on their webpage. But as far as I don't want to have to do a whole webpage. If it gets to that point, I will. But at this point, I'm like, just give me a number and an email so people can reach out to us when they need us. So yeah, that's what we're working on right now.
And you're planning on doing a 501c3? Hopefully,
long term that would be awesome. Long term, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
It takes a little bit of work, but it's not all that difficult.
No, it's yeah, and it's worth it. I have fun fact, in my previous life, prior to me becoming a first responder, I was vice president and interim president of a national 501c3 for law enforcement families. Mm-hmm. So I do have that experience, which I think is going to help. It helps in this area for sure. But yeah, that would be awesome long term if we could do that.
Okay. Don't forget our merch.
What?
What?
We've got merch for sale.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, our stickers, our shirt. Yeah, we do. I don't know why I forgot about that. But yeah, so I designed a shirt. Yes, it is. I designed a shirt. The shirt is being, I think it's getting set to print this week or next week. I have to check with Tom on that. Our stickers, one set of stickers, one of our sticker designs, which is the shirt, a replica of the back of the shirt, just came out. And our patches, I designed a patch. And our patches I think they're already in production this week and they're coming out. I actually have to announce that today, a pre-sale for our patches.
You guys going to do challenge coins as well?
I want to, yes. Yes. I've already talked to Caleb and Tommy about that, but yes, I absolutely want to do challenge coins. And the main focus of the challenge coins, those are absolutely all the proceeds from the challenge coins are going to go to, I think Derek and I are talking about using them as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Most likely for Warriors Rest, because that's who we get our certification through. They helped him get his life back on track. And any of the training that we want to go through as far as like CISM and peer support, that kind of thing, Warriors Rest puts that on for free for first responders. So
right.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of what we do is we have challenge coins and we have merch and stuff. And all the proceeds that we get through the podcast merch and the foundation merch and the challenge coins goes into the foundation, the William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation. And that all the proceeds go to helping out first responders and veterans, as well as mental health assistance for first responders. We are connected with other organizations as well that get help to first responders. And also we want to help juvenile offenders to change their frame of thinking to kind of break the cycle.
I love that.
And that goes to helping their counseling or whatever. And hopefully they might want to be first responders because it's not too late for them.
Right.
We can help change their process and their thinking so that they don't, continue the cycle of, committing crimes.
Right.
It's just like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be crime, but at least if we can, help, one or two or three or four or several kids at a time.
Right. And it's a trickle effect. because they're, if you help them and you change, and they change their path, they're obviously going to pay it forward. And at some point, whether they realize it or not, they're going to inspire somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. So you guys have merch and you're talking about challenge coins.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the main goal with that, a lot of it is the funding, right? Because, we're going to get to a point where we're going to need to travel. We're going to need to, yeah. It's going to be, the funding and funding for our cause, as well as funding for donations to give back to, the people who have already given to us, such as, Warriors Rest, you guys. That would be awesome to be partners with, you guys and collab with you guys on something for funding for your causes as well. So, yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah.
Well, I can have you get in touch. Are you leading this, Amanda, or are you, Derek?
So that would be Amanda. She's got the brain for the whole situation. I can barely run TikTok.
Yeah, that's going to be me.
Like for our foundation, my wife, she's the treasurer, but she's the mastermind behind everything. So I totally understand.
Right.
But I am the president and CEO of the foundation as well.
I got you.
So, let's see. If you need any help with that kind of stuff, you can reach out to Brianne, send her an email, and she has a lot of time because she works in an office, and I'm always on the road, so I don't really have time to sit there and chit chat.
Right.
So obviously she's smarter than I am, but
right.
Yeah, I would love to connect with her and kind of pick her brain. And definitely get it set up and get it done the right way,
Yeah.
For the longevity of it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And
yeah.
She could try to help you out as much as she can to make sure you guys are successful.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
But I think you're on the right track. Obviously, the best thing to do is look at, or actually just talk to Brianna. She can help you with the 501c3. Because that's going to be important to take in donations. You're going to have to set up an account and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you need donations for travel and that sort of thing, you're going to need a paper trail for the government because they're going to want to know what the heck you're doing with this money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I was super glad in the beginning when Misfit Mafia decided to, reach out and say, hey, let's partner together. Cause I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a huge taking on. Right. And when they decided to reach out and they said, I love what you guys, we've been friends with them for a little bit. And when they got off the ground and going, they said, we love what you guys are doing. We love your guys' story about Derek's SGB shot and everything. They said, we would love to partner with you guys and collab.
Oh, wow.
And so we were so thankful when they decided to sponsor us because they're the ones who sponsored my flight out to get trained. And so huge thanks to Misfit Mafia for doing that. But yeah, we lucked out. We have a great support system that's been able to get behind us and encourage us and motivate us along the way and jump on board until we can get on our own feet, right? Until we can get to that point. But yeah, long-term goal, that would be amazing if it got that big, if we went that far, if we got that big. And it would just reflect how many people we've been able to help along the way.
Absolutely. And anything's possible, and reaching out is key. Reaching out to people. If you ever have any kind of opportunity to go to any kind of mental health awareness summits or anything like that,
Mm.
I would not even doubt that. Just go. If you can
Yeah.
go, because you're gonna be able to meet great people. You're gonna be able to connect with other people and you know be able to make connections that way. That's what we did.
Right.
We ended up going to the Mental Health Awareness Summit up in Wilmington,
Mhm.
in North Carolina, with Pierce Provisions, and it was
Yeah.
just an amazing thing. We connected and with a lot of people, and it was just great. It was a great experience. It was a wonderful thing. So many beautiful people, genuine, awesome people. I would have liked to see Maisie and Katie there, but those crazy girls were doing their own thing.
Oh, they're awesome. I love them. They're so adorable. They're so adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, they're my daughter's age. Exactly my daughter's age.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 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 I guess they're probably around Frankie's age now that I think about it. Oh wow.
Yeah, 27. Youngins.
Oh yeah, they're a little bit older than Frankie. Yeah. Frankie's 24. So
Still young. And
yeah. But it doesn't help us, right? It doesn't help you and I, Delaney or Linnell.
I'm feeling any younger. I don't imagine it makes you feeling younger there, Derek.
I feel you.
But your beard looks better than mine, though.
Say what?
Your beard looks better than mine, though.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that, but I might have to shave it off depending if I get a different job.
No, I told him he's not allowed.
Hey, she's right. You're not allowed to because,
Nope.
the women are right all the time. You got to remember that.
Right.
I'm not allowed to shave. I could trim it, but I can't shave it.
I told her one of these days I'm going to end up shaving it just to see my son's reaction because he's never seen me without it. So just to see his reaction.
We're going to call you babyface, Derek.
Right.
100%.
We'd like to thank the companies that stand behind the 8158 podcast. Their support helps us continue preserving the stories of service, sacrifice, and resilience that inspires us all.
That's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. So you guys have any more plans to, trying to get together anytime soon, or are you just kind of, working things out slowly?
That was one of the conditions was when we went into this was not going very long without making a plan to see each other. So it's been back and forth, one of us going back and forth every 2 to 3 months. So I'm flying back out there in September for a vacation. And then he's coming back out here in November for his birthday. So
yeah. Be a great birthday. I know exactly what that's like because I was living in Ohio, and when I reconnected with Brianne, my wife now, I didn't want to be in a relationship, and I thought, when we reconnected on Facebook, because her and I had known each other for like 10 or 11 years.
Right.
And she was dating a good friend of mine at that time when I first met her. So when we reconnected on Facebook, she was living in Oregon and I'd lived, I was in Montana, and then I moved to Ohio with my previous wife. And because my parents live up in, my dad, my stepmom, and my family live in Michigan. And it was kind of crazy because, at that time, my previous wife, her and I had been going through some problems, and she wanted to go back to Montana. And I was just like, well, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. So I took her back home and I stayed, and I was just not interested in a relationship.
Nope.
And then I find out that, my wife now, she was living down in Kentucky. She was only 6 hours from me.
Oh, wow.
And we hadn't talked for years. And it was just like, it was crazy. I always had it like, a thing for her. She was just a great, amazing person. but we've always just been friends, and it just worked out that way. And I wasn't, planning on trying to, you know, make any attempts to make a, serious relationship. And then we started getting closer. Then it was getting hard. It got hard because even 6 hours away, we had to meet halfway. So we'd meet in like Dayton, Ohio, or Indianapolis, or and spend our times like that. And it was just harder and harder to separate.
Yeah.
Yep.
The separation anxiety after that visit is rough. It's rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I imagine that's not easy on your psyche either. It's like you can't wait to see see each other, but then then it's time to leave. It's like, oh, I got to go back to my other life.
I end up timing my trips to where I leave because I work nights. So I leave as soon as I get off work in the morning. I'll hop on a plane, and then I plan my trip to where as soon as I get home, I have to readjust to go back to work. So I get home from the airport and I just crash hard. And I start in, and then I dive into work. So that whole next week or two, if they need, extra coverage or whatever, I'm like, yep, undergirl, I'll do it. Keep my mind distracted just so I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Then the weeks go by, actually her and I were talking about, relationships, and I told her I wasn't interested at the time. But then it was kind of funny because, I was driving for a trucking company and we hauled materials out of Menards. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what Menards is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a home improvement center. It's kind of like Lowe's and Home Depot. And I was hauling out of one of their largest distribution centers in Ohio. And I was driving for Ruan at the time. And I was working 3 to 3. So 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning. And one of the things that really springboarded our relationship, because we talked about it, it kind of pushed us together, was I came home one night, 3:00 in the morning, and my house had been robbed.
Yeah.
And then I find out that somebody tried to steal my catalytic converter off of my truck, off of my pickup truck. And I love that truck. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, I had enough. I'm done with this. I love my job and everything. I wasn't planning on leaving yet, but it was just kind of something that pushed us together. And I moved down to Kentucky. And now we have a beautiful home together. And, things have gotten, crazy.
Right.
It's funny because that's like when you don't, because we've talked about this before too, because we were the same way. We were both adamant. We made that very clear to each other at the beginning of our friendship that neither one of us were looking for a relationship. We were very clear about that. But you dig your heels in, right? You weren't looking for a relationship when you reconnected with Bree, and the universe is like, listen to me. I have a plan for you, and you weren't listening. So then the universe had to throw that wrench in there.
Sucker punched me right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you guys are a lot smarter than I am.
What was that?
Hopefully you two are a lot smarter than I am.
I don't know about that. But
we dug our heels in very, very, we really dug our heels in the beginning. And
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, it took a little bit.
So, yeah.
I think it was funny. One of the first things that told her and called her was a short shit. So,
short shit.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That was pretty much. But you know what? It got my attention. So there you go.
Wow.
Right.
I was like, all right, like this man does not know me. And here he is calling me names. He's calling me a short shit. Okay. Like, he's pretty brave. I like that.
Yeah. You got some brass, buddy. You got some brass.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it helps. I'm 6'3", so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're tall.
And I'm not. I think that's what catches everybody off guard too when they see us together or when they find out our height difference. They're like, wait, what?
So I imagine you're probably right to his knees and he's like
pretty close. pretty close. Yeah. He's pretty much a whole foot taller. I'm barely coming in at 5'3", and he's probably just a little over 6'3". So
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's about how tall Brienne is. She's about 5'1", 5'3", something like that.
Oh, she's fun size like me.
Yeah, she is fun size. But I'm not much taller than she is because I'm only 5'8".
It's the height difference, and then they keep saying I look like Luke Combs.
Yeah, you kind
He
of do.
doesn't see. Yeah, he doesn't see it, but that's like the first thing everybody says. Oh, he looks like Luke Combs. Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds like you two have a wonderful opportunity, and you guys look good together. You guys are going to have a great thing going. And
we're excited. We're excited about what we have brewing. So
I'm actually excited about your organization, and I would love to get with you guys about maybe partnering up and stuff. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but my wife and I are DJs on the Thin Line Rock Station.
Yeah.
Okay. So we oftentimes when we get organizations, we'll talk about them on the radio station.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And, yeah, on our segments because she used to have her own time slot, and I had 2 days, and I was running 4 hours each every Tuesday and Thursday. But since we have our own radio station now, we kind of cut back on that, and she joined my segment, so we do it together, and then we have show on our station together, and then we also have 2 separate shows as well.
Okay.
And you can ask Katie about that because she's a DJ. She better have told you.
How do you have time for everything? I'm still trying to process this. Like, how do you have time for everything? I'm like, yeah.
It's it's one of those things that she pushes me because I drive truck for a living, and I'm gone, and then it takes me 30, 40 minutes to get home. And then when she gets home, because I leave early in the morning and get home, and then we got to get right to doing, like that's why we scheduled our podcast hours, because we used to do it all week long. And then we just switched it to the weekends and Fridays because we've got so much going on that it's hard to try to keep track of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But,
no, we would love to partner with you. We would love to collaborate with you on, anything. That would be awesome. That would mean a lot to us.
We're very big on the mental health stuff. The only thing about our radio station is we don't talk about mental health because Thin Line, they do that on their radio station, and we don't want to try to cross what they're doing. And we gave them our word that we wouldn't do that because we're more of a nostalgia based radio station, whereas they're like a first responder radio station that does rock music, and classic rock and all that stuff. And we do nostalgia music from the 70s all the way through 2010.
Okay.
Any kind of music you can imagine. We got like 11,000 or 12,000 songs.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
On our playlist. And we do a spotlight. We do an artist spotlight. So if you know anybody who is unsigned and who doesn't have a label, even if they have their own label, we'll put them on the station and put their songs on the rotation. Because we've done that. If you listen to the station on Thursdays, we've had several people come on there. You've never heard of Walter Howard. He's a unsigned artist. You probably heard of Colby Oakley.
Name sounds familiar.
Okay, Colby Oakley. Yeah, he's doing a show with 38 Special in Kansas, here in Kentucky, just the other day. And he's a country artist, and he came onto the radio station, as well as we had heck's that guy? Oh, Paul Lopez. He's from Texas, I believe. And we had a couple other guys. One of his name is Mike Rogers. He calls himself Mr. Mike Rogers, but we call him the Mike Rogers because he is the great nephew of Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
He's pretty awesome. And you're going to like one of his songs. If you look up Mr. Mike Rogers on YouTube, there's a song called Chicks Dig Beards.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
Look it up. You'll like it.
Might have a new future ringtone.
Yeah.
Right.
Chicks Dig Bears, and there's another one. It's called Cowgirl Wiggle.
Interesting.
I love it.
I've gotta like text this to myself or on my iPad or something. Mr. Mike Rogers, you said?
Yeah, I think it's spelled out like Mr. like the group Mr. I think it's spelled out MISTER, something like that. If you put them on YouTube, they'll bring it up, or just type in Cowgirl Wiggle or Chicks Dig Beards.
Okay. Definitely.
And then that'll bring him up, so you know it's the right one. And he does Texas Toasted.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I know we're looking for more DJs. So if you know anybody that might be interested, we would put it's all for. We don't pay anybody to do it. It's volunteer work. We don't get paid to do it. All we do is collect the money to keep the radio station going, so that we can, because we want to give our first responders an outlet as well. So
I was just gonna say it's the perfect outlet. It's take a break from our reality and have some fun. So that's a perfect outlet for first responders.
And that's why we started that whole thing, is because we know that Thin Line has first responders doing that. And we figured that, we could do our part and start something different and give our first responders an outlet. So the majority of our DJs, other than my wife, myself, and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, all the rest of our DJs are nurses, first responders, or in some kind of medical field of sorts.
Okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And the Upstate Cowboy was former law enforcement, former military, and now he is going back to law enforcement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
wow. I don't think if I got out of it, I'd want to go back to it, to be honest.
He's like, no. No. I don't want to. Yeah.
Well, after doing search warrants and also ICAC, once I get out of it, I'm going to be out of it for a while.
Yeah. Now, do you guys have any questions for me at all, other than you wanted to pick my brain about stuff? I'd have to get my wife in here. You'd have to talk to her because she's the brains of the operation.
Yeah, and because I've been following you for a while, I've listened to it. Like, I love the story. I love how 8158 came to be and everything. But yeah, I definitely wanted to pick your brain on the whole hotline and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that.
I don't have any questions.
Do you have any other questions? No? It's like, I'm ready to get off shift, man. I want to go home.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely, we just went to Michigan, and they did it was kind of like an honor thing for the 250th anniversary of our country, the 4th of July, they honored my cousin, and they did an honor guard and everything. They brought him in and brought him a wreath to the fairgrounds.
Oh, wow.
And one of the officers that was with him when he lost his life, he is now a lieutenant. And so we got his support with the sheriff's office, and I've been in contact with him quite a bit. So he's really big on mental health.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's right in line with you guys, because he says there's something's wrong with you if you don't think that this job does not bother you.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just not normal.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be, if you were in law enforcement, if you cried for help, they're like, okay, I'm going to take your badge and your gun, go find something else. I found law enforcement seems to be the hardest out of the three, besides dispatch, to talk about things. And so that's kind of like what I like to do, is I like to throw my story out there because I'm not afraid of it. I mean, I used to have that stigma like, oh, hey, they're going to judge me. But now it's like, if I can help save an officer's life with my story and what I went through, hey, offer them help. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And that's what we're here for. And the more of us that kind of get together and support first responders and try to break that stigma, the better.
Yep.
Because we love and support you guys as much as we can. And that's why we're doing this. It's one, to honor my cousin and his legacy. Two, he wouldn't want us to just kind of focus our attention on him, because he loved his first responders. He loved his law enforcement family and his community. So what better way to honor his legacy and memory to help his brothers and sisters in that way?
Right.
Because he knows they go through a lot of stuff.
I think that would be my only question that comes to mind for you. What do you think your cousin would think of everything you've done so far? Like,
I think he would be proud of what we do.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, say what you do.
Yeah. I think that would be my question for you is how do you think he would feel about it if he were still here today?
Yeah. I think he would definitely be proud of me for what we're doing, and he would be 100% behind it and support it. And I know he's kind of like one of those guys that's like very humble, and I'm sure he doesn't like his name everywhere, but this is how we honor him.
Right.
So, we bring attention to that and say, this is why we're doing this in his memory. Like in Hillsdale, he has 2 billboards with his name on it in memory of him. One of them is a picture of him and him walking up the stairway to heaven.
Okay.
And then the other one is a picture of just his badge number and his name in honor and loving memory dedicated to Bill Butler Jr.
Okay.
So in that community. Yeah, we have a lot of pictures of that stuff and his headstone and all that stuff. It was sad. It was a sad thing, but the crazy thing is I gotta be honest, I used to be a very introverted person. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like standing in front of people talking. And my wife actually put me up to doing the podcast. And I told her, no, I don't want to do that. I thought she was crazy.
But I did it now. Look at
I did it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of increased from there. So if you guys ever have an opportunity, always take the opportunity. You know what I mean? That's what my wife and I say. Never say no to an opportunity. Because
it
went from, we did a podcast, and I don't know if you've seen us. I was actually on the news twice during the vigil for my cousin. They interviewed 2 different news stations, interviewed me. And then when we got home and we started the podcast after 9 episodes, Lex 18 came to the house into my office and interviewed me in my office about why we do the podcast. And we talked about, the suicide rates and all that kind of stuff, and why we started the podcast. So that was on the news. And then it went to being on a radio station. Now we started our own radio station. We have like 7 businesses under our LLC right now.
Wow.
And it started with an idea.
Yes.
Just an idea to carry on his memory, his legacy, right?
Yes.
So that it doesn't happen to somebody else, or, and look at where you're at. It just snowballed.
And I could see that for both of you as well. You guys can make it happen for your organization to do more to help your brothers and sisters.
Well, it's funny you say that.
Sorry, babe, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was asked by one of the members from the Pierce Foundation to put an application in to speak at Nashville in October. And somebody in this group here, whatever, has been pushing me quite a bit, along with our other friends, to go ahead and put in there. And I filled out the application. We'll see where it goes.
You should. And Brad is a great guy. Brad is awesome.
So
yeah, he's the one that runs it.
Right. So we'll see how it goes. See if I like getting in front of people and speaking. I mean, I've worn a dress on stage, so what's the difference?
And it's funny because I'm the extroverted introvert. I don't like being in the spotlight.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm like, you put in the application. I'll help you put your presentation together, and then I'll stand back there. I'll stand backstage and I'll cheer you on. Like, you go do that.
Yeah. Well, if you guys go to Nashville, we're only 3 hours from you.
Okay.
In Nashville.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you updated then.
Yeah, because we're in Harrodsburg, Kentucky.
Okay.
That's about 45 minutes from Lexington. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice
we'll
little
definitely
town.
keep you updated.
Yeah, but I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity to speak in front of somebody and tell your story, you don't realize how much impact that has on these people.
Right.
Just like me telling my story about my cousin and why we do this, it has had so much impact on people. I never even realized it. I didn't know because, nobody ever said anything. And then we started getting more interviews and I started learning a lot more, and which helped me want to support you guys more. And then we start hearing back and hearing the feedback and like how many people we helped. And, like when Katie and Maisie says, whenever somebody says they're going to go on your podcast, we tell them to do it,
Right.
because it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have your voices heard. And we always support that because we believe that our first responders deserve to have their voices heard. You guys are there for us when we need you the most. And we feel like it's up to us as a community to be there for you when you need us. So there are people that do care. Majority of them, well, they don't matter.
I've always said, if we can just help just one person, if there's just one person out of everybody that we talk to, then my goal has been accomplished. I've achieved that goal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just that one person having a tough time. And then anything else from there is a bonus, I feel like.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited about what we have brewing with Break the Stigma, Hold the Line. I'm excited about the merch, the patch that's coming out, the t-shirt, and the stickers that just got launched. So we'll see. It's just the beginning.
It's awesome. Well, I definitely wish the best for you guys. Yeah. And it's going to take a lot, take some time and take a lot of money.
Yeah.
It takes money. We fund all of this stuff with our own money. We don't use the foundation money unless we go to travel because that's within our purview. As long as it has to do with the foundation, we're allowed to use some of the funds for lodging and all that stuff, business stuff only. But majority of that stuff is to help first responders. But we're still young in our stages. So we're trying to get the word out there. We're trying to do events and trying to get involved with people, and so hopefully that's a springboard for us to kind of get it out there. And, maybe working with you guys and other organizations, it'll help as well. Bring attention.
That would be awesome.
Especially with the radio, the music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brings attention and awareness to people. So that's why we do that.
And it's so needed. It's so needed. I don't think a lot of people realize how much awareness is needed.
Absolutely.
With what the stigma.
Oh, yeah.
About it. So, and a lot of education too. A lot of education. I know I've talked to some people about the difference between CISM and therapy and just the education behind it. A lot of people don't understand that it's two completely separate things, If they're not aware of the difference, they look at CISM, they look like, at the critical incident debriefing about, I don't want to go to therapy. And I'm like, but it's not therapy. It's processing what you went through, hopefully to prevent you from needing therapy long-term for it, right? That's kind of one of the ways that I break down the difference between the two. It's another tool So a lot of people kind of avoid it because they feel like if they go through, like if their department does have a debriefing, sometimes they don't want to go through it because they feel like they're going to be psychoanalyzed and it's therapy and they're going to have to sit, and talk to a therapist about their whole history. And it's just how you responded to that one incident. So
Exactly.
I feel like with a lot more education out there and letting people know that there's a difference, you don't have to go through a whole lot of therapy to go through, your debriefing on the incident and bring awareness to that and
Absolutely.
get rid of that stigma.
So I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
CISM, is that an acronym for something?
Yes, it's critical incident stress management.
Okay.
So to break it down, you go through a traumatic event
Okay.
and it's managing the way your body processes the stress that you're put under for that critical incident.
Okay.
And there's two forms of it. There's peer-to-peer, which is just one-on-one. And then there's critical incident debriefing, which is a group of people that have been involved in an incident. So the critical incident debriefing would involve, say, a dispatcher, two officers that were on scene, as well as maybe, EMS and fire, everybody who was involved in that particular incident, all the way up to dispatch, because there are first responders, right? There are true first responders. So dispatch is included, should be, and
absolutely.
most of the time they are included in the debriefing. But then there's peer-to-peer, and that's just one-on. It doesn't involve anybody else. It's not a kumbaya circle. It's just you meeting with somebody who was involved in an incident, just checking on them, seeing what they've been experiencing since that incident. So,
Right. Okay.
And it's totally confidential. So whatever someone were to say to us, and that the only two ways we break that confidentiality is if they're going to hurt themselves or others. Otherwise, it's if, say, a supervisor goes, "Hey, what'd you talk about?" Nope, can't. I'm not going to tell you.
can't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Or if I say somebody comes to me with an incident and say they're based out of Kansas, right? I'm all the way in California. If somebody reaches out to me, I'm all the way in California. Another, I would be allowed to break that confidentiality if I were to reach out to Derek and say, hey, there's this person in Kansas. I'm tagging you in because you're closer to them than I am, because he's also certified.
Right.
And that's it. Other than that, as a matter of fact, I got a phone call. It was literally my shift coming back to work after getting trained after the Oklahoma trip. The first shift back to work as a supervisor, I get a phone call from somebody with some concerns, right? And it's a complete right up that alley. And the next day they came into my office to talk to me about it. And so I'm sitting in my office with them, and on their way out, another supervisor was walking in, and she asked me, she's like, what was that all about? Because she kind of heard like not much of it, but she knew it was a confidential conversation. And she looks over at me and she goes, what was that all about? And I looked at her and I said, I can't. And she goes, what do you mean you can't? And I just kind of pointed to the certificate, because I already have the certificate up at my desk at work. And I just kind of pointed to it. She goes, oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right.
But yeah.
So it's kind of like the HIPAA laws.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say anything unless there's any kind of possibility for self-harm or harming others type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the rule that we follow is generally when people call, they could text or call. And generally when they call, I don't really know who they are unless they give that information out. And I'm just a random guy that they could talk to. So I'm not clinically certified or anything like that. I'm just your average person as an ear to listen.
But that is so helpful sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes it's even more helpful when it's a complete stranger that you don't know, they don't know you. That it does wonders sometimes.
Yeah. It is kind of odd though.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the logic, but it is strange because, you don't know me from Adam, and you want to sit here and talk to me about this. And I find it interesting as well doing the podcast because people have come on here and spilled their, most, deepest things in their hearts. And I'm like, you don't even really know who I am, but yet you're here giving away a piece of yourself and releasing the load off of your shoulders, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's something special. And that's something that I honor and respect a lot. So, we give a lot of respect.
It says a lot about you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. My wife has a lot to say about me, but no.
Well, Amanda, too. I understand that.
But we try our best, and to make you guys as comfortable as possible so that you could tell your stories and so that everybody else can hear your story because your stories matter and it impacts other people. Just like when we're talking about, going to peer supervisions and talking at the summits and all this stuff, your stories matter because it can relate and resonate with other people.
Right.
Yeah.
My story resonates with people. Your story resonates with people because not one person goes through trauma alone because we all have the same traumas.
Yeah.
And my traumas weren't from the jobs or, not necessarily for what happened to my cousin. My traumas were like way back in the day from childhood traumas, growing up.
Yeah.
But see, you already know. You guys already.
Yep. Well, when
So
I
like
went
I
to
say,
that whole, I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
When I went to that summit, and that I had 2 hours of drive time until I got there, and I had to force myself to, because just that whole stigma that we have is, hey, no, I don't want to do this. Hey, this is uncomfortable. I want to have to talk about everything that's going on. I don't want to do. And not if anyone's like would watch this and like, oh, I want to go to that, but I'm going to tell them a little part of it. There is a big circle that you tell everybody what you're going. And I encourage everyone to go through that because I felt alone when I was going through it. It's like, no one understands me. No one's going to understand what I'm going through. But as we're going around the circle and that speaking whenever we want, I realized that the traumas may be different, but the feelings are completely the same. Like we would have, someone who have the exact same feelings I am. And it's like, oh, hey, I can understand what you're going through. I may not know the trauma, or I may not have been there when house collapsed on you while you're a firefighter because the cops are out back, roasting marshmallows. But, at the same time, we get to understand that, hey, you went through a traumatic experience. You're feeling alone. You're not. I'm here. I feel the same thing. And we can lift each other up.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what we're all about. Lifting each other up. Yeah. I would encourage you to do that. You need to get on that.
Right. Right.
And Amanda, if you ever have any opportunities, you should do the same thing.
Yeah.
Be a great speaker.
Yeah.
I know it's tough. Trust me, it's tough.
Yep,
I used to be a very, very shy, introverted person. I couldn't walk up to people without my palms sweating. And then I would get nervous and then sweaty. And it was just kind of like a weird thing. But after the loss of my cousin, something had shifted in my brain. And I know some of it was anger. Some of it was, just the idea of losing somebody so close to me and, that kind of trauma that changed me into something else. And also I got to give my wife credit too, because she's helped me along this way. And she's kind of like pushed me.
It kind of gave you a purpose.
Yes.
Like you had a purpose and you were going to fulfill that purpose at all cost. And you just had the perfect support system right beside you with Bree.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
right
for the
right.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys have. So
yeah.
Right.
I have high hopes for everything going your way. And if you need any help from us, we could do what we can to help you guys out.
We definitely appreciate it.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome.
We're huge supporters of this stuff. And and like if we have anybody that we can refer them to you. So the sooner you get your number set up, I'll have you talk to Brianne about that.
I will add that to my list of things to do for this evening.
Yeah.
Considering it's not even 6:00 out here yet.
Oh my gosh.
That'll be on my list. Yeah.
It's almost
I've got to work on
here.
that and launching our patch I have to do. Yeah, we're doing a pre-sale for the patch. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's always good to get your merch done. Websites are very beneficial, but they do cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And the way I see it, like in the beginning when it's just, Derek and I getting things started, like the website, it's a nice thing to have, right? For, information. But the most important thing is that access for people to get a hold of us, for people to get a hold of somebody they need to talk to. So yeah, I definitely need to work on getting that number set up tonight.
Yeah. If you want to stay on here, I'll go get her and
okay.
You can stay on here too if you want to, unless you've got other things to do.
So yeah, I gotta get parked out and everything like that, but I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely be in touch. We also have an off-duty addition to this podcast that we started.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes. So we go back and do the off-duty, outside of, what you do in your personal time. We don't get like intimate or nothing like that. It's nothing like that. But,
Right.
what you guys do in your normal lives,
to turn off our first responder brain.
Right. What do you do to shift that mindset?
Yep.
I gotcha.
But that's all I have for you right now. Hopefully we can get you back on for an off-duty session, both of you.
That would be fun. Yeah.
I'd love to.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Derek. I'm going to have Brianne come and talk to your lovely lady here. And
right.
Hopefully we'll be talking soon. And hopefully we can get together and maybe do a collaboration with your foundation. Or
all
whatever
right.
you're going to do. Whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Buddy. Absolutely.
How do we exit?
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on all social media platforms at 8158 Podcast for updates. 8158 Stories of Sacrifice is a team effort. Rico brings the stories to life through casting, writing, original music, and editing. Brianne Shipley as production manager, handling booking, social media, graphics, promotion, marketing, website management, and logo design. Please visit our website at 8158podcast.com. For questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor the legacies and remember the sacrifices of those who serve, every brave man and woman on the front lines, protecting and defending us all. This is Rico signing off and honoring 8158.